Hello! I just heard about this girl Soph. Let's watch this video.
Hello, I am FBI agent Clyde Colin, and I'm here today to address the danger currently facing the social harmony of the United States hegemony. The threat I speak of, as many of you know, is the spread of white supremacist beliefs in America. The ideology, propagated by the KKK's head Negro operative and designated spokesperson, Treasure Richards, jeopardizes the welfare of the black communities we thoroughly sold cocaine to a few decades ago. When this phenomenon first caught our attention, we made sure to suspend and dismiss all ongoing child molestation cases so we could inspect further. But due to the state of quality of our investigative branches, all the intel we've been able to collect so far has come from YouTube. The following video features Miss Richards herself on the primetime TV show Dr. Phil. Because of the bigoted nature of her rhetoric, viewer discretion is advised.
People try to tell me I'm an African American, but that's not true.
Background.
That's correct. She's clearly not an African American. She's a nigger.
African Americans are loud, rude, obnoxious, and just altogether fat and ugly.
I thought she was supposed to be racist. She's just stating indisputable facts so far.
Fucking racist.
My 16-year-old daughter has a very
I'm guessing she's
out-of-control
joking.
identity.
I'm guessing. Let's see.
As a woman who lied to her children about who their father was.
Your husband passed away. He was Caucasian,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
And you allowed your children to believe that he was their biological father.
Yes, I did.
You're surely a reliable source of insight on your daughter's pathology.
When Treasure was 5 years old, I've noticed Treasure was having issues with her race. She wouldn't play with the black children. Treasure would mangle or destroy her black dolls. She would cut their heads off, pull off their arms.
Her mother wasn't informed of this, but Treasure's starring in the heavily politicized Pixar movie Toy Story 4 as racist Sid.
I felt mortified. I was a single mom trying to support a family. We couldn't afford to stay in our beautiful home. We moved from a mostly white, affluent neighborhood to the city, which was mostly African American.
It's interesting how the 16-year-old girl who hasn't endangered one single human being so far is considered the bad person, not the single mother who had to move in with her 2 kids to the ghetto thanks to her financial irresponsibility. You know what else is interesting? The affluent neighborhood is white, but the city is mostly African American. I love these semantics.
The suburbs to the hood. I was not anything like other black people. They were all hood rats and they were all ghetto. They all act like monkeys.
When it's claimed that racial identity is constituted by a set of behaviors instead of genetic composition, this is what inevitably follows. Those of that ethnicity who don't conform will be denounced, as if they owe allegiance to their racial group because they have some sort of abstractly defined shared experience, when all they truly share is limited to haplogroups. Ironically, they are treated as belongings because of their race. This, in turn, makes them revolt against the people denouncing them. And since the denouncers purport to represent the racial group, that's what ends up getting attacked. That isn't to say I support the things being said by Treasure, but it's preferable to adopting the reprehensible behavior being displayed in her environment.
What I find the most disturbing is my daughter is consumed with the Ku Klux Klan. It just shakes me to the core.
Let me just say this. There's probably not one organization with worse PR than the Ku Klux Klan. Planned Parenthood is responsible for the Negro baby Holocaust, and it's still considerably less despised than the KKK. If your black daughter is entranced by the Klan, it isn't because of their cunning marketing tactics, it's because of your monumental failure as a parent. If the insight you have to offer limits itself to this...
Ooh, that's just awful.
Yeah, of course.
Ooh, that's just awful.
I'm not surprised she sought orientation elsewhere. Finger-wagging isn't a productive means of communication.
My daughter does spend a lot of time
on
social media. I don't even look
at her
Facebook page. It's too painful.
Facebook has pretty strict policies on hate speech, so if Treasure's posts didn't get her banned, they weren't as bad as her mother made them out to be. If a Facebook page is too painful for her, someone should show her pole and watch her go into a permanent coma.
As a parent, I kept expecting her to just outgrow it and thinking she would change. I pretty much was like an ostrich, put my head in the sand, and it's getting worse.
I bet this is what Jeffrey Dahmer's mother thought too, before he started melting people in vats of acid. Can't say I'm surprised. My expectations of this woman's parenting skills weren't very high. Judging by her out-to-lunch demeanor, how she remembers to wipe is beyond me.
I'm interested in doing this story because I think it's a
It's
teachable
just funny how
moment,
young she is.
and not
She's so
for
small and so like looks
sensationalistic
like a
shock
fucking
value because of some of the outrageous things that she
very
says.
young kid, and she
So
is.
I don't think she's doing
So
them
that
to
makes
get
it kind of
attention. I think she's doing it because this is how she actually feels
weird,
and believes.
funny.
Would you agree?
Yes, I do. She says she's white.
She's talented though,
From a
shit.
very early age.
This might be the only accurate assessment in the entire video. What I don't get is, if they know that she actually means what she says, why do they act so dismissively towards her? My guess is that they're too busy morally grandstanding about it to actually have a discussion with her about her mindset. That might just be a lack of comprehension on their part, though. I'd wager that the majority of people who recognize racism to be wrong haven't ever formulated a proper explanation as to why they think so. I'm not saying everyone has to have a profound understanding of everything, but if these vultures are going out of their way to bother this girl, they should at least articulate their reason for doing so. I blame her mindset on the black identity. If you don't know what I mean by that, the black identity is a narrative established on the general and recurring themes of American black communities, such as poverty, broken families, police brutality, etc., that takes these circumstances and
Close,
results
a
them.
little bit.
What Treasure did was the same, and that it was a collective
I think she's
judgment
talking
call.
about the white people
But
one,
instead
put
of
it together.
thinking it was fashionable, she found
You
it
know,
repulsive.
like the
And that
leftist
is the
white people one.
textbook consequence of ethnic generalizations entering the Overton window. Treasure considers herself
Black people
white
have their black
because she doesn't
identity is a
behave
bit
accordingly
slightly
with the
different,
black
but
identity,
close.
which in turn
That's the white
alienates her
leftist
from
one.
it. And I
You know,
do
that
think
they-
it's about
I don't know.
behavior, because if it were about physical traits, Treasure would be blind not to notice her obviously black appearance. Now, contrary to popular belief, I
stay
don't
with
think
their
her mindset
behavior.
is uncommon at all.
Close.
As a matter of fact, I think it's the rule rather than the exception. If you think that's inaccurate, just think of every time a black person was accused of cooning or acting white because they didn't behave in a manner that fulfilled the expectations of how their race should usually behave. The most glaringly obvious and recent example of this was Kanye West's declaration of support for the president. Immediately, there were people destituting him of his racial identity, as if it had anything to do with it. Well, to them it does. A similar thing happened when the Proud Boys were accused of being white supremacists, even though half of the group is composed by people who aren't white. The implication being that race is a social construct, and it's an abstraction you practice rather than a biological imperative. With that in mind, there's no reason why being black should stop you from being a white supremacist. It sounds funny, but it's the
Weird.
precise conclusion to it. Treasure's only sin was to apply that theory rigorously. She thought that, well, if I don't behave black, then I must not be black. That's why I don't think the stuff she's saying is shocking. Without failure, when
In the
there's a
narrative,
Gazi Kadzo, there will be a Treasure Richards. In closing, I want to send a message directly out to Treasure. We aren't exactly blood sisters, but I enjoy what I've seen of you quite a bit. In the same way I enjoy watching a channel like ContraPoints, despite the massive political disparities.
crazy,
You're a lot
it's
more
weird.
entertaining than 99% of the sludge uploaded to YouTube on a daily basis, including about half of the things I've uploaded. And that's not just for the funny parts. It's for your articulation and independence, as racist as it may be. Your walking, talking, pole-browsing, gap-toothed reminder that America is the last beacon of true free speech, and therefore
gap
hope in
tooth
this
is so
joke of a
prominent.
planet. As much as I feel like I'd be better at arguing
I used to have one.
than
Fucking
Doctor,
clothes,
she doesn't
motherfucker.
want to, but
A
she
little bit.
will, Phil, and your The View watching mother, I also feel like I don't have to. I have a dream that one day, people who hold the strangest and most offensive beliefs
Oh my
will be
God,
met
those
with
guys must be
tolerance
joking.
from those who disagree, but are entertained.
Weird.
Let freedom ring.
Off some different context. Anyway, but it did kind of make a little bit of sense with the thing of acting black. If that weird black girl was thinking that because she doesn't act black, she's not black, and because white people say, I mean, black people say it with that thing of you're not acting black, so you're a coon and stuff like that. But you know, connects with that thing. She must see that she's fucking black, but not seeing that she's black and calling herself not black. And that thing she said with the fucking her father being white and saying she's white and her mom lying about her father, weird. But anyway, Soph, she's fucking funny. She's kind of weirdly talented because she's funny and she's got fucking loads of knowledge. She's doing some good logic stuff. And I guess, you know, she's just being edgy, and some of this, you know, quote unquote right wing stuff is a bit edgy, so she's just edgy teenager, just ends up doing it. So yeah, decently funny. I might watch another one. I might check out another one. Bye.